Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the 1111 Matrix Code Revealed. As always, I'm your host, Garrett King. Okay, folks, a little bit to cover today. Some really exciting, interesting stuff, and a lot of bizarre connections still taking place in all of this code. But before we get started, I want to point out something that's going on YouTube. When it comes to comments being left on some of my videos. And I found this really interesting that, actually, let me just go ahead and switch screens here so you can see the comment that I'm talking about. Okay, so this comment came in about 6 days ago from one of my subscribers, and it looks like the name is Marissa. Looks like they're using the LEET language in their name. But this is the comment that they left. The comment just simply says, Garrick, it makes sense that the earth will be destroyed. This place and its people are too far gone and we live in a total mess. Why do you think we are being warned about what might happen, considering apparently there's nothing we can do about a solar flare? Okay. Now, I don't know if it's their comment or my comment that YouTube is blocking, because even though I can see the comment and they were able to reply to my comment back to them, this is not showing up on the page for the video. It's only showing up behind the scenes, which is incredibly odd. So my comment was, I said, I wondered the very same thing. I can think of two strong contenders. One, we're being warned so that we can internally make peace with what's to come, so that our soul's transition will be smooth and less turbulent than it would be if we were just sitting around one day and are suddenly sideswiped out of nowhere. Or two, there is the possibility that an external source plans to intervene and remove/relocate those of us who saw the signs or heard the call. I still think our government is aware of all of this, and that is why they have built these domes, those deep underground military bases I talked about. Many will go underground, but those left out may be the ones the code mentioned as being a breakaway society. It's all speculation still at this point without any hard evidence from government officials. But by the time they finally decide to come forward in order to not create pandemonium now, it will be too little, too late. Again, I could be absolutely wrong about all of this, and I certainly hope that I am. But the evidence is mounting up more and more, and it all seems to be coming back to this. And then they were able to reply back to me and said, both contenders make sense. Have you watched the series The 100? It shows to an extreme what could happen to humanity if a major event happened. Everything seems to be connected. Nothing that is being shown to us is a coincidence. Now, in the grand scheme of everything, what is so terrible about this comment? Or these comments? What was said that is so blasphemous that they felt the need to keep these comments from showing up on the video? Because, I mean, I'm not doing anything behind the scenes. I'm not keeping the comments from showing up. So, and they're clearly there. She was clearly able to respond. But why is this particular set of comments not showing up? Now, is it because, of the comment that it makes sense that the earth will be destroyed and that, people are too far gone and we live in a total mess? Well, there's nothing wrong with that statement. We're not saying anything that, that isn't true, to be honest. I mean, this place is a huge mess right now. I think it has more to do with my comment talking about these DUMBs, these deep underground military bases, and having no hard evidence from government officials. Still, I don't see what is so wrong with the comment. But again, you can go. This is on the last video, the one that I titled Knowing the Hand of God. And you will not find these comments on that video. It only shows up behind the scenes. Very odd. Okay, so if you do leave a comment and it doesn't show up, just know that, I can see it if they've pushed it through, because they could very well be blocking comments coming from you guys. I have no idea. But if the comments are coming through, I can see it. I will reply. I try to reply to every comment that I can. If I feel like it needs a reply. But I just find it odd that these 3 comments are blocked. They're not showing up. So, okay, let's go on with today's information. This is kind of exciting. It really is. Today, we're going to be talking about something known as the fine structure constant. And did I spell that wrong? I think I did. I did. Okay, so it's the fine structure constant. And what's interesting about this is I was already doing this research over the weekend when I got tagged in a Facebook article from my good buddy over in the UK, Jared Walters of Paranormal Now. And he tagged me on an article talking about this exact same information. And I was like, talk about synchronicity. Wow. It was just bizarre. It was bizarre. And he just said that, he felt like he was compelled to tag me in it. And I just thought that was so cool. So what is the fine structure constant? Now, I got this information from an article off of science.howstuffworks.com. And I've not tagged, but I've copied a little bit from the article that Jared tagged me in. So I'm just going to read through this really quickly, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what the fine structure constant is. So what this article said was, what's the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe? If you're expecting an incantation in some ancient language uttered by a holy man sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop, the answer may disappoint you. It might just be the number 137. Now, to physicists, 137 is the approximate denominator of the fine structure constant. And that's what this number is here in parentheses. It's 1 over 137.035999913. Now, the measure of the strength of the electromagnetic force that controls how charged elementary particles such as the electron and the muon interact with photons of light according to the National Institute of Standards and Technology. The fine structure constant is one of the key physical constants of the universe. This immutable number determines how stars burn, how chemistry happens, and even whether atoms exist at all, as Michael Brooks explained in a recent New Scientist article. But practically from the time of its discovery in 1915 by German physicist Arnold Sommerfeld, who originally rendered it as 0.00729, the fine structure constant seemed to signify some larger metaphysical truth as well. The fine structure constant determines the distance between an atom's spectral lines, which are the atom's DNA. And so it is one of those numbers that is at the root of the universe. If it were any other value than the structure of matter, let me start that over. If it were any other value, then the structure of matter would be very different. And so us too. Now, the fine structure constant is denoted by the Greek letter alpha. This is important. What's special about alpha is that it's regarded as the best example of a pure number, one that doesn't need units. It actually combines three of nature's fundamental constants: the speed of light, the electric charge carried by one electron, and the Planck's constant. It also affects the details of the light emitted by atoms. Scientists have been able to observe a pattern of shifts of light coming from atoms called fine structure, giving the constant its name. This fine structure has been seen in sunlight and the light coming from other stars. Okay, couple of things here. So, alpha. Why is that important? Well, if you recall from my last video, from this symbol here, which is where the numbers stopped with 144, it stopped on 12, 24, 36, and 72. We talked about how the lines, when connected, it gives us 369963, but it also gave us this shape here. And when we recreate this same shape over here in the 11 by 11 multiplication table, we got the value of 1650. 1650 in Gematria gave us the phrases, "It's time for us to leave," and the final code to break, Christ's second coming, is the Alpha and Omega. Okay. That's why this is important. So we've already found the alpha. It's the fine structure constant. Now we have to figure out what is omega. Now, very quickly, while I'm on here, I just want to show something. As you can see, I have the word swastika and swastika 2. Now, before the Nazis demonized this symbol, it's an ancient symbol. It's been used for centuries. It's been known to represent hope and good luck, good fortune, but it's also been used as a symbol for the sun. So there we go, another symbol for the sun. And as we talked about, we got this symbol for the sun, which matches this one, giving us the total of 1440, which is a direct connection back to Lord Jesus Christ, who in Hebrew, the value is 144, as we have here, 144. But interesting that the swastika also gives us the value of 1440. It gives it to us this way and in reverse, both being 1440. Now, another interesting thing is if we recreate the letter A, the Greek letter A for alpha, as I've done here, simply because A is like, it's just a straight line and then this sort of curve out and back. So I've created a straight line and curved it around and back. We have a representation of A or alpha, and it also gives us the value of 1440. Again, what are the chances? And 1440 in Gematria gave us the phrase, Garrett King reveals the hand of God in sign of times, reoccurring numbers. Okay. We're talking about reoccurring numbers over and over and over, which we're going to be seeing again today. Okay. Now, how does the fine structure constant fit into the 1111 matrix code? Well, very, very carefully. So first of all, let's just look at the number 137. That number reduces to 11. Okay. 1 and 3 is 4, and 4 and 7 is 11. Already a connection. And then that this is denoted as being the Greek letter alpha A. So we already saw how that tied in. And then it talks about the fine structure has been seen in sunlight and light coming from other stars. Well, our sun is a star in the sky as well. Many people don't think of it that way, but that's exactly what it is. And we're talking about the sun and Jesus being one and the same. SON/SUN. But it ties in much, much deeper, okay? So let's move forward. Whoops, we already looked at that. Okay. Now, the fine structure constant in Jewish Gematria gives the value of 1342. That number produces the following phrases, or these phrases, I guess I should say, produce that number. Download complete, astral time travel, the ability to see spirits, Jesus number, consciousness and energy, knowledge of sciences, and I am God, heaven, earth, creation. Now, 137 is the 33rd prime number, and 33 is the age of Jesus at time of crucifixion. And we already talked about 137 reducing to the number 11. But look what happens when you take 1342 and add it to its mirror opposite, 2431. We get the number 3773. It's not a coincidence, folks. It's not a coincidence. So just literally going over to Gematrianator, let's pull this up here. And we're going to use the Jewish cipher. Let's just turn these others off so that Jewish is the only one on here. And I'm just going to type in fine structure constant 1342. And just to show that the math is accurate, 1342 plus its mirror opposite 2431 is 3773. Now, we already know why that number is important because of many things. The numbers generated by this code are going up and down by the number 37. And 73 is the mirror opposite of 37. But also, if you recall from several videos back when I was looking at the Hebrew Bible, Genesis 1, the very first phrase, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It gives the value of 2701 in Hebrew Gematria. And 2701 plus its mirror opposite of 1072 is 3773. Again, it's not a coincidence. All right. Scroll back down. Now, this right here in Hebrew is from Psalms 19. And the translation is, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Okay? So keep this in mind. The heavens above, the cosmos, the stars, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, this phrase in Hebrew produces the number 1781. Okay, so let's just copy this and go back to Gematria and turn on the Hebrew ciphers. Paste that in. And as you can see right here, Hebrew Gematria 1781. Okay. Now, when you take the number 137 and put it into, let's just move this down a little bit. Take 137 and put it into the same formation as the Star of David or the Star of Creation. So in order to do that, you would have to take 137 and place it on the screen 13 times. That's why I've placed it there inside the star. So you can see it's forming the same formation as the Star of David or the Star of Creation. Now, this is the cool connection. So 137, 13 times. So we take 137 times 13, we get 1781. Again, it's not a coincidence. And we're talking about the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, also from Genesis 1, the phrase, and God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. Now, let's just zoom in here a little bit. This word right here that I have highlighted in red is the word light. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that. And let's just go to Google Translate. Paste it in. In English, the light. Okay? Or just quite simply, light. So that's the translation. This word, and this is what's really, really fascinating about this. This word, light, is the 37th word. Okay, 3 and 7. It's the 37th word of the Hebrew Bible. And the first letter is the 137th letter. Again, not a coincidence. And 137 is known as the fine structure constant. Now, tying this in, so we have that phrase in Hebrew. You can see each of the words here and the value for each word. And interesting that the very last word, which is darkness, and I know that I'm clicking here, it looks like I'm clicking the first word, but Hebrew is read from right to left. So this is the last word. And it has the value of 333. Just to prove this, let's open up Gematrianator again. Paste it in. As you can see right here, Hebrew Gematria 333. And we go to Google Translate, paste it in, and it gives us the darkness. Or just simply darkness. Now, but the whole entire phrase in Hebrew gives us the value 1776. And the name Jesus in Greek, which is what this is here. So I'm going to copy that. Jesus in Greek gives us just the name Jesus, not Jesus Christ, just Jesus alone. Gives the value of 888. So let's go back to Gematria and turn on the ciphers for Greek. Paste it in right here. Greek, I don't know how you pronounce this word, isosophy. I don't know, probably pronouncing it wrong. But anyway, it gives the value 888. Now, how does this connect? Well, when you take 888 plus its mirror opposite, which is simply 888, we get 1776, the exact same number. Okay. It's pretty crazy and interesting. I mean, it's just these connections are, I hate to use the word mind-blowing because it has the value of 1111, but it's mind-blowing. And it's at this point, I think it's impossible for anyone to refute this information. The connections are so far off the chart. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's impossible to argue this. Now, let's look at the number 3773 very quickly. So 37 times 73. Anybody have any idea, without using a calculator, which I'm going to use, but what 37 times 73 is? Well, let's just look. 37 times 73 equals 2701. The phrase, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In Hebrew, it has the exact same value, 2701. And so let's go ahead and put that there. And as I already showed you, 2701 plus its mirror opposite of 1072 is 3773. See how that connects? Now, what is 2701 times 37? It's 99937. Okay, 99937. Well, what does that number mean? It doesn't look like much of anything other than it's interesting that we have 999, the flip of 666. But then we also have the number 37 showing up at the end, which is the number that we multiplied to 2701, but is also the number that is repeated over and over and over in the 1111 matrix code because all the numbers are going up and down by 37. But check this out. When we start reducing this down, we have 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 3 plus 7. It reduces to 37. It's undeniable, these connections. And what are the chances that this number 37 would literally be written in the stars? And when I say literally, I mean literally written in the stars. Let me show you. So Orion, the constellation of Orion, it contains a cluster of stars known as NGC 2169. Okay. NCG 2169 is nicknamed the 37 cluster. And the cluster is composed of components colander 38 and colander 83, both being open clusters. Now, if it's made up of these two components, colander 38 and colander 83, interesting that they've chosen the numbers 38 and 83, numbers that are mirror opposites of one another. And odd that they didn't say, okay, let's name this one colander 37 and this one colander 38. Let's do it in sequential order. Or let's call it colander 38 and the other one colander 39. No. They chose 38 and 83. It's an encoded 1111. Because 3 and 8 is 11, and obviously 8 and 3 is 11. It's encoded 1111. And again, it's nicknamed the 37 cluster. And as we've seen from the code, the numbers generated are going up and down by the numbers 37. Now, why is it called the 37 cluster? Because, folks, it looks exactly like the number 37 in the sky. As you can see, it comes across, down, swoops around, and comes over and down. It literally looks like the number 37. Now, keep in mind, this is not me saying this, okay? I'm not the one saying this. Scientists, whoever, named it that because that's exactly what it looks like, the number 37. It is literally written in the sky. You can look this up yourself. In fact, you can even go as far as just typing in colander 38. Okay, we'll do it right now. And the very first thing that comes up is NGC 2169. And it says NGC 2169 is at a distance of about 3,600 light years away from Earth. It is nicknamed the 37 cluster due to its striking resemblance to the numerals 37. And then goes on to say the cluster is composed of components colander 38 and colander 83. Again, an encoded 1111. Now, just looking at the number 2169 in Gematria using the Jewish cipher. The number 2169 produces the phrases wisdom and knowledge, awaken awareness. And this one's interesting. The matrix is mentioned in the Bible 5 times. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, or, where that's determined, but it's just interesting that phrase matches that number. And then when you combine the two numbers, 38 and 83, into one number, 3,883, it produces the phrase, the pyramids were built with alien technology. Okay. Interesting that we would get that phrase from this cluster of stars in Orion, the constellation of Orion, when Orion's belt and the Great Pyramid, or the pyramids of Egypt, are in the exact alignment as the belt of Orion. Again, it's not a coincidence. Okay, here's the 3 stars that make up Orion's belt. And here's the pyramids in Egypt, as seen from above looking down. And they're in order of brightness. So this one being the brightest one, this one slightly less, and then this one less than the other two. And look at the placement. Okay. These are in a straight line, and this one's slightly off, just like these three stars. So if we were to draw a straight line from this star to the next, it would pass this one. It's slightly moved over, just like the smallest pyramid here. So again, I asked the question, what are the chances that we would get this phrase? The pyramids were built with alien technology, talking about the pyramids from 3883. The combination of the two clusters that make up NCG 2169, the 37 cluster. And that cluster exists in Orion, right up here in the elbow section of the arm, the extended arm coming up. So this is the arm holding the bow, and this is the other arm coming up. It's right here. And I believe from what I read, it said that it's not visible to the naked eye. So you would need a telescope in order to see this cluster. But it does, I mean, it clearly looks like the number 37. So that's what I'm saying when it is literally written in the stars. It's insane. It's really, really insane and fascinating at the same time. So, I mean, this really calls into question a lot of things. You know, in my comment to Marissa, when I said that, you know, that there's two contenders that I can think of, strong contenders. One, we're being shown this code so that we can just simply make peace with what's about to come. Or two, there's a possibility that an external source plans to intervene and remove or relocate us. And could this external source be coming from that location in the sky or in the stars? I don't know. And is part of this communication coming from them? Again, don't know. But it's interesting how all of this is connected. We can clearly see how it is all connected. It's all intertwined. The numbers, the reoccurring numbers keep coming back. It is truly extraordinary. And then going back to that phrase, the final code to break, Christ's second coming is the alpha, which we've already seen, the fine structure, constant, and omega. Now we got to figure out what is being referenced by omega and what numbers are going to be produced from that. So that's where my research is now going, in this direction, to figure out what this is possibly referring to. And still, as you can see, I'm still decoding elements of the Bible because we're finding these deep connections, these deep connections. And again, the way they interact with one another. It's just extraordinary. All right, folks, that's it for today. Some very cool info, I think. It's just, again, it's undeniable. I don't see how anybody could refute the connections. Okay. I mean, it's so intricate. It's so intricate. But anyway, that's all for this time. And until next time, I hope everyone takes care and has a great weekend. And I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. Bye-bye.